They're finally here. The Larry and David Show, starring Larry Fry and the king of TikTok, David Bronstein.
Welcome to the Larry and David Show. I'm David Bronstein.
And I'm Larry Fry.
Fantastic. Who the hell cares? Who's watching this other than you and me?
My mother.
And yeah, the peeping Tom next door.
And the peeping
So
Tom.
Larry, it's great to see you.
Great to see you too, David.
Thanks.
Listen, I'm down in Florida. I just came down to Florida on Sunday, and I'll tell you, I had a trip like you wouldn't believe. I knew when it started right from the beginning. I don't get a barcode on my online check-in. So I knew something was going on. I had to go check it at the desk there. They labeled my ticket with SSSS, which is special security. I got to go through a double security check. Well, I said, well, that's great. What are they going to do? Give me a cavity search? I don't know. I already went to the dentist. So, anyways, I'm lining up and I'm going through security. I'm taking off my shoes, pulling up my laptop, pulling up my other laptop. I had two laptops with me. And then this guy beside me starts throwing the F-bomb word, saying, oh yeah, I did the same F thing last time I flew, and they lost my iPad. They lost my iPad. And again, the F-bomb. This is like at 8:30 in the morning. I had to listen to this. Anyways, I'm going through security. I go through the regular check. Then I have to go through a scanner. You know, where you lift up your arms and they do like an X-ray of your whole body. I said, wonderful. And then I do a body scan, a body frisk. So, and the guy's looking at me and I said, don't laugh, you're next. They're probably going to find your iPad.
Oy vey. Larry, you look like an old Jewish Otakaka. Why would they give you all this bullshit to go through? What's going on?
That's exactly what it is. I don't know. I have no idea. Anyways, they start going through my baggage, and I got all this podcast equipment with me. He said,
yes.
What are you doing with all this stuff? He said, I work for CNN.
Did you say that?
Yeah. The guy laughed.
Yes.
He knew for sure I don't work for CNN. Anyways, I finally get through. And with the body scan. Anyways, I get to my apartment, and the air conditioning shut off. It was broken. I come in here, it's 82 degrees.
Oh.
Anyway,
what do you do?
What do? You call the Maytag service guy. He's the loneliest guy in town.
Oh, does anybody know that other than you and me, Jesse White?
You're right. You're right. That's Jesse White.
Right.
Jesse White.
Yes.
And then I go to start my car, and the cruise control light comes on. The alarm starts going off. Everything is falling apart. The car was haunted. The whole trip was haunted. Anyways, I'm still stuck in my apartment. I can't go out because my car is in the shop.
So you drove this car to the shop. How'd you get to your apartment? You had to take a taxi or an Uber back?
I Uber back, yeah. That's it.
Now wait a second. You went to Florida in the morning. Was the airport busy?
In Toronto?
Yes.
Yeah, it was busy.
At 8:30 on Monday morning.
Sunday morning, yeah.
And how did you know they put this SSSS on your ticket or whatever?
Well, they said we have an SSS code on your boarding pass, and that means you're going for a special screening. It's random.
So whoever checked you in didn't say, oh, I better check out this guy. They just randomly said, oh, we'll give him the SSSS.
That's what they did. And right away when I heard the word SS, I knew that there was a problem already.
So you know these code words or whatever this is.
Yeah, all the way back from 1942, you know.
Oh, God. No, wait, so have you ever been put through this before?
A long time ago.
So you knew what to expect?
They knew what to expect when I came through. Nothing but a hard time.
So under normal circumstances, they would check you in, and you go through take off your shoes and whatever it is, and you go through. Is that right? It's normal.
That's normal. Yeah, absolutely. In my case, they say, please leave your shoes on.
I understand. But in this case, they say, go over there. Is that right or something?
That's right. You go through a secondary inspection.
And when you go there, what happens? What do they?
Well, the guy puts on a rubber glove, snaps it, and right then and there I said, "But I just had a colonoscopy."
Oh, God. And after you said that, they wouldn't say, "Okay, go ahead, you're clear." They wanted more?
That's it. They kept on going through it. And I hear Riley's there. Riley's coming in.
Yeah, we're all thrilled.
He's a guest host today. Okay.
We gave him a bone, and he finished the bone, and now I got this bullshit. All right, what's the next question?
I believe it. Are you sure that's not your prosthesis he's squeezing?
Oh, God, yes.
Okay. Okay. It's funny. How old's your dog?
11.
11 years old. He's still playing with the same toy.
It's not even my dog. It's
like you being married for 37 years.
Still playing with the same toy. So my kid for some reason, he wanted a golden, what is this kind of dog? A hot dog, a dachshund.
Yeah.
And he looked online, and he paid $700 for this dachshund.
Wow.
And then he moves out. He doesn't even know we have a dachshund. He comes up and says, "Whose dog is this? Where'd this dog come from?" Because he moved in with his girlfriend in Newmarket and left the dog with us.
No.
So, and I love dogs. I love animals, but I wouldn't have gotten a dachshund. I'd get a golden retriever. I like mutts, but I would not have gotten a dachshund. When I was a kid, when I was 8 years old, I used to watch a show called Gene London. It was in Philadelphia. It was a local show, a kid show. And on Sundays, you'd have little puppies. So when I was 8, I said to my parents, "I'd like to have a puppy." So that morning, going to get a puppy, my father was in insurance at the time, went to somebody's house, and they had a dachshund. And the lady said, "Oh, these dachshunds are fantastic. You should buy a dachshund." And when I was 8, I thought, "I don't want a dog like this. I want a dog like I see on Gene London," which I got that dog when I grew up. So now it's funny that when I was 8, I said, "I don't want a dachshund," and I have a dachshund now. I love the dog. He's a great dog, but it's my kid's dog.
What's the dog's name again?
Riley.
Riley. You should change his name.
To what?
Anthony.
Anthony
Weiner.
Yeah. Oh, you're right there.
I'm going to get that right in there, too. When he walks through the door, he doesn't even see his hind legs.
What's he doing now, do you know?
Who, Anthony Weiner or your dog?
No, I know what he's doing. I just gave him a bone so he wouldn't play with the toy.
I'm more concerned about your dog than I am about Anthony Weiner. Your dog, I know. The only way you can find him in the snow is when you're looking for 5 footprints.
Oh, you gotta write it down.
I'm gonna write it down. I don't have to write it down. Okay, I gotta ask you a question, David.
Yeah.
Years ago, like 2 decades ago, you came out with this idea, this concept, Dial-A-Date.
Yes.
It was like humongously successful, and you're like all over late night television. That's when I first got introduced to you. When I met your wife's friend, Diane, or cousin, as you call her.
Yes.
Right, at that time. And she did a couple of shows with you. And tell me about the concept of that show.
Was Diane? She was on my shows?
She was in one of them, I think.
I think you're right, yes. All right, so when I came here from Philly, I was very lucky. I did a couple of series. I did a show called After Hours on CBC.
Excuse me, how do you think I met her? I called the number.
You're right there. I did this series on CBC called After Hours, and then I did a series on USA Network called Doghouse.
Okay.
I was very lucky, and then I wasn't getting any work as an actor. And people say, "Dave, you're an American. You should be working all the time. They make American movies." And my agent would say, "It's so slow. It's slow. Business slow." And I would tell people, my agent couldn't book Lassie into a kennel. So I said to my agent, "I want to see my name up in lights." He said, "Call yourself Exit." So I said, I can't wait for anybody. My personality, I need action. I need instant results and instant gratification.
Yep.
So I said, I'll produce my own shows and star in them. But to do that, I need to get sponsors. It's a lot of bullshit that I don't do. And I was in bed with Andrea. I think it was Andrea. I was in bed. I'm watching this. I was in bed with Andrea. And after the Arsenio Hall show came on, was a show called The Nia People's Party Machine.
Okay.
And it was hot girls dancing.
Okay.
And I said to myself or Andrea or whoever I was with, I said, there should be a phone number to call to talk to those girls. So I got that idea from watching this Nia People's Party Machine. But you being the technical genius of this podcast, I didn't know how to get 900 lines and get T1s and all these phone systems. I don't know how to do that, but I had the idea to do that. So I pitched the idea to players in Toronto that had 976 numbers for phone sex, and they had ads in the newspapers. Okay. And I said, I have an idea to put girls on television and to call a number. And they said, we love that. We're going to partner with you. And they'd pay me $10,000 as a producer's fee and a percentage of the calls coming in, except I never got the percentage of the calls coming in.
Oh, good.
So I produced a show called Love and Passion was one. And another one was Night Encounters. And I would go to different after I get screwed out of every deal, I would go to different entrepreneurs that had 976 and pitch them the same thing. And I would do these dating shows. But the whole purpose of it is to get me on I was buying my way on television.
Right.
With my business partner's money. And me saying, go to the phone and call and chat with these girls and all that bullshit that I would say. And I would do Catskill jokes. Because the jokes that I would do in these shows, I had a partner like Jerry Lewis and Dean Martin in the Catskills. So I would make the girls my straight man, while I would do the nutty jokes that I would do.
Amazing.
And because I got screwed out of every time, the real money, the sweetest plum, as they say, is in the calls, not in the 10,000 producer fee.
Right.
So another show that I was doing, I was booking airtime from a guy named Andrew, who was booking media at Rogers Cable. Okay. And he said, stop making money for everybody else. We're going to be partners, and we'll produce these shows together. And we were standing on the corner of Young and Charles. He said, we're going to be the biggest 900 number infomercial company in Canada. And I said, yeah, sure. I mean, all I want to do is act.
Right.
And you have dreams, and you hope things will happen. But he mortgaged his house for $40,000, Andrew. And we got an office in Yorkville. It was a small office. His mother gave us a bridge table and 4 chairs. And my desk was a windowsill, I remember. And we produced a show for $20,000, the first Dial-A-Date show. And he got an IVR system. He called Bell. He did all the business that I don't know how to do, like you now, editing and running this podcast.
Where was the location for the first Dial-A-Date show? Which club?
At the Limelight.
Limelight, okay.
It was on a Duncan in Adelaide.
Okay.
And we shot it in March 1995.
Wow.
And we put 20,000 on television. 20,000 on television, I remember, in April. And that 20,000 in April, with guys calling the 900 line to chat with the girls, got us a check for $104,000.
Wow.
So you put 20,000 on the pass line, and you win $104,000.
And who was actually answering these phone calls where these guys were calling in?
All our competitors had phone rooms, and they would pay the girls at that time maybe $7 or $10 an hour. I think it was $7 an hour at that time, right? In '95 and '96, because the girls would just sit there reading a book.
That was like $2 American, right?
The 976, yeah, whatever it was at the time.
$7 a Canadian. It was $2.
You're very funny. But they would pay them, and the girls would sit there waiting for calls. And Andrew said, "We're not going to waste money paying girls to sit in an office to read a book all day." So he came up with this technology that our phone system, when a call would come in, it would outbound to the girls' homes, and the girls would call into the system. And when they'd get a phone call, the system would say, "Hi, this is Dial-A-Date calling. Press 1 to connect." So we paid the girls 25 cents a minute to chat with our guys, and they only got paid when they chatted because we weren't going to waste money paying them for the hour to sit there waiting for a call to come in.
What if their husband answered the phone?
Yeah. Well, we had the guys calling, also wanted to talk to guys. We had to have guys available too.
Oh, you did? Okay.
But we had 75 girls working for us.
Wow.
And at 25 cents a minute, they were getting paid $15 an hour in 1995, which is still great now in 2022.
And they're working at home, just like people are now.
That is correct.
That's
they're
right.
Working from home.
So basically, you revolutionized the home employment scene.
Look at that! I'm a revolutionary.
You are the creator, the foreseer of what was going to happen.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm
Get rid of all the... say goodbye to Barnicky, and their real estate office properties.
Okay.
Okay, so that's very. And then you had this other project. So that was the only location you shot at, was the Limelight?
No, we shot after the success, and we kept parlaying it.
Right.
We were spending $250,000 a month was coming out of our pockets to buy airtime.
Right.
And we were running 150 times a week, only in Canada, because the 900 line would only work in Canada. It wouldn't work in the United States.
Right.
And 150 times a week, 250,000 a month. We were getting checks from Bell Canada for $500,000 a month and $800,000 a month.
I heard guys were crossing the border of Buffalo into Niagara Falls just to dollar 900.
That's the upside. What I'm telling you now.
Right.
Now here's the downside.
Right.
In March of 1996, we got it. We spent $250,000, and we got a statement from Bell saying, "We're not giving you any money. You owe us $700,000." Because the guys were billing on their phone bills $40,000 a month, $20,000 a month.
Wow.
It was $50 a call if you called, and we only gave you 15 minutes to chat. And after that, the phone system would cut you off, and you have to call back and for these 15-minute intervals.
Sure.
So all these chargebacks piled up, and at the end of the year, they said, "Give us $700,000." So we threw $250,000 out the window, and we didn't get a check in March of 1996.
Oh my God! Well, the guys finally realized that it was cheaper for them to get married and they get divorced than calling your number.
Yeah, well, they would complain. It's they didn't call. Their neighbor called. Their cousin came over. It was their son. They don't know where it happened. And Bell said, "Okay, don't pay."
That's right. And they look at the guy coming in with a T-shirt, stains on it, spaghetti stains on it, and a beer can. And he's talking dirty. Unbelievable. He was a top commodity for the dating scene.
Yes.
Then you came up with this concept, American Stripper.
So a producer associate out of Florida got in touch with me, and he was friends with Ron Jeremy, good friend of Ron Jeremy.
Okay.
And he wanted to do a series like American Idol, but for strippers.
Right.
And he wanted Ron to be a judge, like Simon Cowell.
Okay.
Now, somehow he knew of me through Dial-A-Day, whatever.
Instead of being a judge, now he's an inmate.
Oh, very good. Yeah. So, but he got in touch. After my partner bought me out in 1997 for Dial-A-Day, he bought me out of the company, and I said, "What do we do with the shows?" Because we had, I think, 5 or 8 shows at the time. And when I would do a new show, so I knew it was a new show, I wear a different colored jacket. So the show's yellow jacket, red jacket, so I could tell the difference with all the Catskill jokes I would do. And he said, "Well, let's you keep the shows and I'll keep the shows." So I started selling my shows to my competitors in the United States and in Canada, because when I produced the shows, I never said, "Here's the number." I would say, "Call the number on the screen." I always kept it generic.
Right.
So I could always put any phone number on.
Right.
So after we split up, I remember I sold 5 shows for $50,000 US to a competitor in the United States. So when I would go to Florida, and I'd go to Boston, and I'd go to Las Vegas, I was a big star in these cities because my competitors were running my shows. So maybe the guy out of Florida, maybe that's how he knew who I was. And I remember he came into Toronto, and we had meetings here for American Stripper. And I wrote it, I produced it. They flew Ron in, and we shot at strip clubs in Toronto. We shot at Fillmore's and
Fillmore's. Oh my God.
the House of Lancaster.
Okay.
And then another one, Richmond Hill, whatever it was, and the girls would dance. And I'll tell you, the show is great. I have a lot of story. Ron is a great guy. He's very intelligent.
Sure.
And he's very funny.
Yeah.
And he's nothing like, in the porn movies. He's nothing like that.
No.
It's all acting.
Of course.
And the strippers that I work with there, and Andrea was with me, believe me, in every shoot that I was doing in the strip clubs.
Right.
She
wasn't
working.
She wasn't working though.
No, she was working with me as a script consultant.
Oh, okay.
But I'd be in the dress. Yes.
She was basically being your marshal.
Oh, you ain't kidding. But I got to tell you, as erotic as the strippers are on the stage and whatever they perceive to be, They're all very smart, intelligent business ladies.
Right.
Because when I go in the dressing room and they're all naked, I'm thinking, I'm a nice Jewish boy from Philadelphia. Nobody would believe this in a million years.
That's right, they wouldn't. Where do they keep their change?
Yeah, right. Larry, I couldn't believe it myself that I'm in these dressing rooms with strippers with no clothes. And all my friends would want to be in my position. I hate to say the position I was in my position with the girls. It was so. Yes, I love sex, and I want to have sex with all of them. Hopefully, Andrew's not watching this. But the young growing up in Philly with my aunts and uncles, I'm a nice Jewish boy. Right. I'm not a lascivious wolf.
Your life was like Woody Allen in the beginning.
That is correct. Yes,
living under the train tracks.
But when I was in the dressing room with the girls, I was like the wolf in the Warner Brothers cartoon. My tongue would hang to the floor, my eyes would bulge out, like that.
That's all? That's all?
That's all that bulged out, yes. Well, make me something. Who the hell knows?
I saw that coming.
Oh, boy. Write it down. The girls were great, and we shot in Las Vegas at clubs, and the clubs are so professional.
Right.
I shot in one club in Las Vegas, at 12, I had to go at 12 o'clock at night, and Andrea was with me. She came, and I had to leave Andrea gambling to go to this nightclub at 12 o'clock at night, the strip club. And I'm shooting with the girls, and I have a crew there, and it's 4 o'clock in the morning. I said, I can't keep my head up. I gotta go to sleep. So I said to the crew, shoot these girls. This is what you have to ask them these questions. Sure. And I gave them direction. And Larry, it's 4 o'clock in the morning. I walk out of this strip club in Las Vegas. And there's a line to get in. Limos pulling up. You think it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And I thought, how do these people stay up? I have to go to sleep. So I left the strip club at 4 o'clock, and my crew stayed there. And then at 11:30 in the morning, they stay for an after party. And then at 11:30 in the morning, I went to a casino, and I see people coming up with boas and flat. And I said to the security guard, what is that? He said, it's an after party. They're just coming up now for breakfast. This was in 2008 or 9.
So needless to say, you didn't make it for morning service at the synagogue.
Yeah, it's not my lifestyle.
It isn't. Okay. Well, that's why it's taped.
Yeah. Yes.
So but I'll tell you can live it once, and if you die during the process, it won't make a difference.
But the strip club owners were so great and courteous, and all the girls are very professional. It's all show business. When I was taping them, there's no sex. Oh, Dave,
sure.
Larry, I got to tell you, the girls never said to me, "Hey, Dave, if you be real good to me, I'll if you make me a star, I'll be good to you." That's never ever happened.
Right.
I'd like it to happen, but it never ever happens.
Not even Jewish sex, right?
Not. What is Jewish sex?
Half price.
No, but it was a
that
great...
That was from the last show, David. I'm using your material.
Thank you. It was a great great experience.
It was a great experience. That's wonderful.
Yes. And the last thing is, they flew me to Los Angeles. I shot in nightclubs in Los Angeles. And the girls are all great. They really are. Yes, they're naked. I'm doing jokes with them. But they're really great professional business ladies. There's nothing to do with sex. And their job is to portray sexuality and all that bullshit.
Right.
But it's all an act, at least what I saw. And we went to a club. They were having all these porn stars were coming to this club.
Right.
And Ron was supposed to come at 8 or 9 o'clock at night, and he wasn't showing up.
Right.
And I called my producer friend, who was a bunch of doctors that bankrolled this show. That's what it was. I said, Ron's not here. What am I supposed to do? He said, when you get lemons, make lemonade. So I had a crew there, and Ron's supposed to do it. So I walked, and I interviewed all these porn stars. And I didn't know who they were, because I don't watch porn. And some people I know say, I don't believe you don't watch porn. I don't watch it. What am I going to do with it? I want to do what they're doing in the movies, but I don't just watch it. So I didn't know who those porn stars were, but they were famous porn stars. So if you watch the clip of American Stripper, you see this segment of me saying, are you a big shot porn star? Who are you? And one girl said, oh, yes, I do ladies now. I said, what do you mean? She said, well, before I did men, now I do ladies. I said, what a coincidence. Me too.
If he did that now, after COVID, it would be considered a super spreader event.
Oh, you ain't kidding, my friend. But you could see it on the clips or whatever. If you grab it, you could see that segment where I'm asking, are you a big star? Or what do you do? What movie? Because I didn't know who anybody was.
Right.
But they're all really great, professional. They're beautiful. Women are beautiful, and it's all business. It's all show business. That's what it is.
I noticed from watching some of your clips, your impersonations are very much like Jerry Lewis. You're almost like a reincarnate.
Yes.
I had my own incident with Don Rickles. I was sitting in the front row at the Golden Nugget 23 years ago. And that was my first mistake. Sitting there with my wife, Don Rickles says to me, you look like a Miami Jew. Says, what's your name? I said, Larry. He says, my son's name's Larry. I go, hi, Dad.
Oh, that's great.
And he wasn't happy with that. He quickly moved
moved
on to the Asian guy next to me.
Oh, right, yes. That's a one. You were right. You were funny then, and 22 years ago.
Yeah, I was quicker.
Yes.
Now I'm getting older. I'm getting slower.
I understand.
It's, what I used to do all night, now it takes me all night to do once.
Oh
Okay.
boy.
Anyways.
Yes.
So, another question.
Yes.
I had a history as well. I was a chiropractor.
Yeah, I remember when I first met you. Were you a chiropractor when we first met?
Yes.
Because you were selling products, pillows.
I was inventing stuff at the time as a sideline.
Do all doctors or chiropractors do that?
What? Sell pillows?
Yeah, well, invent products like on a sideline.
Not all. Only me.
The creator. Okay. You're the creator. And why did you feel... I mean, if you're a chiropractor, that's your... As they say in my success books, that's your one thing. And that's what you do every day.
Obviously, it's been a lot of things since then. I was an inventor. I invented pillows. I designed orthopedic. I even designed a woman's breast enhancement product 22 years ago. And it was quite the ordeal. Dial-up underwire for the bra. It pushed everything together. Anyways, it was a shtick. But the big thing were the pillows. But as a chiropractor, starting off in school, I came up with all these ideas because I saw things were happening. As an intern, my first patient that I've actually put my hands on, I shook so much while I was examining them, they thought that was the treatment.
Oh my God! You shook because you were nervous?
They called me the vibrator.
Oh boy!
The vibe was my nickname. And then I'm examining this football player for the Varsity Blues Toronto football team. I'm examining him in the clinic, and I'm doing reflexes, and I learned my first lesson. Never stand in front of a kicker when you're doing a knee reflex. So not only was I an inventor and a vibe, I also sang soprano.
Oy vey! Very nice. Very, very good.
That was it. And then we had lots of stuff when I went into practice. It was quite interesting. I had this one woman that was in her 8th month pregnancy, for sure. She denied that she was pregnant. She had bigger than a beach ball in front of her, and I said, I think you're pregnant. And she says, no, I'm not. Impossible. So I said, so what are you here for? I said, I got this pain in my back. I said, where? Right there. Oh, I said, okay. And where do you think that's from? He said, well, when I sleep, this doorknob is hitting me in the back. I said, sweetheart, I think your pregnancy is a result of the doorknob.
Did you say that? Oh, boy.
Yeah, it was. She wasn't too happy, but anyways, it was.
Did she not know?
It was actually something I thought of. I never said that to her.
Did she not know she was pregnant, or she was really just lying?
She was in denial. She was a single mother. She was a single mother in denial.
Isn't denial a river in Egypt? Denial.
I practice in an elderly area, and I finally realized taking a history from an elderly patient is a lot different than taking a history from a young patient like you.
Oh.
For them, you don't ask them, so what's wrong? That could take all day. You ask them, what's right?
Right.
It's much shorter and much quicker,
right.
and you get right
Good
to the
for
point.
you.
And that's
a great
right.
line. What's right?
And
Yeah,
also
right.
this terminology that we're going through right now with these kids, they're talking like, "Oh my God, that's sick." You know how many times I told my patient, "You're sick"? That's a good thing now.
Yes, it's a good thing, right?
Or
you're right.
Shut up.
Right. Yeah, it's a whole new language lingo. Well, in the 60s we had, what do we have? 23 skidoo? No, that's not the 60s. We had Sakatumi or...
Sakatumi. Yeah. We had a lot of things. So what's interesting, how was your day today? Why are you late? Why are you late, David? I just
I'm going to tell you, this morning I got up, I was buttoning my shirt, my button fell off.
Oh,
I went to pick up my briefcase.
The whole day.
Yes, I picked up my briefcase, the handle fell off.
The handle fell off?
I went to open the doorknob fell off. I was afraid to go to the bathroom. Well, you set me up!
I saw that coming! Good one!
Oh, God.
Touche.
I'm late because my kid bought a new car recently, and he referred some friends, and he asked me if I can go pick up checks. They gave him referral checks at this car dealer.
Oh, it's raining in Toronto.
Oh, yes, a lot of rain all day today, yes.
Oh, really? Here it's sunny. I don't want to rub it in, but it's sunny and hot. With no good air conditioning, I'm going to have to take my third shower today.
Oh, so is it central there? Do you have to buy an air conditioner?
I'm waiting for the repair guy. It needs a transformer. How
long will it take?
They probably said by the time I'm ready to leave, it'll be ready.
Oh boy, you're right there.
But then I will need it. It'll be minus 20 in Toronto.
Yes.
No, it's not important. I'm only here for 2 weeks, so.
And then you're coming back to Toronto?
Yeah. Why, you want me to go somewhere else?
No, I thought you'd be in Florida till the spring.
See, my ex-wife would tell me where to go.
I understand. I thought you'd be there all till April.
Are you kidding?
Or you'd come back
I'm
for
not retired. I'm working. I work for
understand.
CNN now, you know.
Oh yes. Okay.
Yeah, you sent me that article. Very interesting. Yeah, they're cutting back. CNN is cutting back.
Why is that?
Well, when Trump no longer was president,
yes,
they had nothing to write about. So they're losing. Then they had controversy. Trump did this. Trump did that.
Yes.
They had controversy. Now they have no controversy. They have. They're gonna have controversy about Biden? The poor guy. I feel so bad for him. He should be at Baycrest.
Oh boy.
But anyway.
Yes. Well, you could say that in the United States. What country could you not say that in?
Russia.
Or you couldn't say that.
No. What? That the president is. Well, look at ours. There was a notification that the Trudeau went to the Queen's funeral.
Yeah.
He paid $400,000 for hotel fees for the funeral. I said, "Do you stay for the Shiva?" $400,000 of taxpayer. So he sang. He sang in a pub. Did you hear about that?
No, I did not know.
Yeah, well, he sang in the pub, Queen song.
Wait. What cost $400,000 to go to a hotel?
I guess he booked it for all his people, and him and his wife sleep in separate rooms. I have no idea.
Is that what the press said? $400,000?
$400,000 for the funeral.
And is anyone
for a hotel? That doesn't include the flight, the plane, fuel.
Is anyone complaining about this? Or the people? Anybody saying?
I said the next time they print the new dollar, they get printed with two queens' heads on it because that's what. That's what it cost us. It'll be like a portrait.
I don't understand. Okay. All right.
Anyways, you know the term that beautiful, since we're talking about the Queen and her terrible passing. Unfortunately, she was a wonderful woman.
Yes.
And a respected woman. But now the king has taken over. Now, you know the word The F word. I'm not going to say it. Fornication under the consent of the king. That was what it stood for. So back in the olden days, people wanted to fornicate. They would have to get consent from the king. Well, the queen has been ruling for 70 years. So look at all the buildup that's been going on.
Oh, boy, you are the greatest.
King Charles now has got a full-time job filling out all these consent forms.
Where did you hear that?
I made that up.
You bet. That's great.
No,
I didn't know it.
But
yes.
fornication under the consent of the king is well known.
I didn't know. You learned this in school?
Yes. Google it.
Okay. Well, I don't have my phone with me. I'm using my phone right now.
That's where the word came from.
For what? Fornication?
No, fornication. F-U-C-K. The fuck word.
Yes.
Right. That came from fornication under the consent of the king.
I didn't know that.
Now you know it. That's where it's all coming from.
This is a fantastic podcast. Look how informative you are.
I tell you, a world of intelligence going on in here.
This should start. This should
I just
go
need a
viral.
couple burr holes to let it out.
Fornication. What? I gotta write this. And give me a pen. Fornication under consent of the king. Is that what you said?
Right.
Do they teach you this in school?
No.
Yeah. Well, Generation X, Y, Z. Do you think these kids know this?
Most of them don't. They just like to use the word. Like, F that.
Right.
That's sick.
Right.
Shut up.
Boy, you are, every podcast you should be informative like you are right now.
I will come up with something new every podcast if everybody wants to listen. That's another story.
After hearing this one, fornication under the consent of the king.
I'm telling you, this whole thing's fucked up.
Boy, you're great. I learned something new today.
I'm glad. It's always good to learn something new. Definitely. So that was your day. You went into a dealership that had a prayer room.
Well, no, my day is constantly doing TikToks and collaborating with the world's moneymakers, winners, as I say, future billionaires, champions, to market my products on their stores so we can put them on television and blow them out. That's right.
So, David, you want to say the goodbye? Let me end it off like this. So I'm just going to say. Anyways, it was great to see you again. I'm glad you got out of the dealership all right and everything went well with you. And I'm glad to see you again. And we're going to see you next week.
Thank you. Say goodnight, Gracie.
Gracie?
Yeah, George Burns would say, say goodnight, Gracie. She'd say goodnight, Gracie.
Oh, that's before my time, David.
Okay.
Anyway.
Thank you, Larry. You're great. I love doing these podcasts with you. Very informative. Today I learned fornication. Andy, write this down. Fornication with bullshit. I don't know what the hell he's something about fornication. Hey, Andy. Yes.
Short-term memory is gone. Okay.
Thanks, Larry.